Thank you, Chairman. I want to thank all the witnesses for being with us today. I'm concerned about the proposals under CFPB Director Chopra because his proposed rules will increase costs and reduce access to capital, especially to women-owned and minority-owned businesses and many families. So I want to talk about, as an example, the proposed rule under Section 1071, because that would direct the lenders to guesstimate. A small businesses owner rates based on the on visual observation if they opt not to report it voluntarily, which you know very well. So I wanted to ask you, Mr. Himpler, what are the most urgent policy issues the CFPB should be taking into account as they, work on the final Section 1071 rule? Because we want to avoid reducing credit for women-owned and minority-owned businesses.
Thank you, Congresswoman. This is critically important. The vehicle finance industry is a key part of the economy. The auto market is another key part. And what we have right now is a regulation that's put forward by the CFPB to collect this data. By and large, my member companies don't know whether or not these folks are minority or women-owned businesses and the like. That's largely data that's available to the dealers, all right? And then our members get the contract. The Fed has not put forward a similar rule so that the two can be married up. And so at the end of the day, the CFPB is insisting on going forward with a rule that we can't implement until the Federal Reserve acts. And I think that's going to create chaos in the industry.
Let me now talk about the Bureau's new credit card late fee proposal that claims to help some credit card customers to avoid higher fees. But in reality, I think CFPB also acknowledged that in the proposal, the customers who do not pay their late fees, primarily about 78, 70, 80%, those Americans with credit cards, they will not benefit from the reduced fees, and they could, in fact, face higher costs, right? Maintenance fees, lower rewards, or even high interest paying accounts. So I'm concerned that CFPB is breaking with prior precedent by not allowing its obligations under the SUBRIFA. The SUBRIFA panels allow regulatory agencies to understand the cost that proposed rules may have on small businesses. So in that proposed credit card late fee rule, the CFPB certified that we would not have a, quote, significant impact on a substantial number of small banks and credit unions, end quote. So I want to direct this question to you, Mr. Johnson. Based on your experience, does the CFPB have a process in place to officially certify the rules that do not have a disparate impact on small businesses and small banks? And how do you think that the CFPB reached the conclusion to waive that requirement?
So I don't know, Congresswoman, how they reached that conclusion. The analysis in the CFPB's proposed rule was perfunctory. It's a statutory requirement to consider whether or not there would have an effect here. I do think, putting on my old agency hat, that the Bureau really has real risk with this rule. The failure to abide by a SUBRIFA panel and process is a significant risk to the agency's rulemaking. The insufficiency of the 1022 analysis through qualitative rather than quantitative analysis is a real risk. And given the public statements made, including at the State of the Union, I think there's real prejudgment risk about where the Bureau is going to come out in this rule.
Thank you. I would like to yield back the balance of my time to the chair.